The mission of Lifting Up Westchester is to provide life-changing support to individuals who have lost their housing or are otherwise struggling to meet basic needs. We provide that support through a series of programs that work together to address immediate needs and focus on future success for individuals once they leave our programs.
I'm homeless right now. Live in my place almost all my life. I work in construction about 30 years in the same company. My boss coming out with cancer, so his family, they decided to close the company. So at that point, I was living with my savings for a while, so it got hard to find another job. I got to the point that I can afford to pay my rent.
The typical client comes to us because they need a place to stay and come to our shelters, or they need a meal and they come to our community kitchen.
There's a meal here. There's a cup of coffee over here. There's a glass of water. This is a place that you can relax. The love that you can feel it out here. My goal is back in my feet, get my job, get back to society.
The first order of business is to kind of get to know them, understand what brought them to our doors, and try to figure out what are the barriers and challenges that are causing them to need our services.
When I first came to Open Arms, I felt like it was a beautiful environment. It was clean. I was welcomed with open arms, and right away I was guided to all the right sources.
Our employment specialists do everything from resume writing to interview prep to providing interview clothes to driving people to the interview if that's what's necessary.
I was able to get my job and I nailed the interview. The most important thing that anyone can do is motivate and push you to be your best self. I'm meeting with a housing specialist, so they're helping me find a place, stability in my life right now as an individual, as a young man. Knowing that I'm one step closer makes me feel empowered. There are still people that exist that are willing to help others and lift them up, even if you have nothing to offer. No one asks me for anything in return but for me to succeed.
People really need earned income in order to escape the cycle of homelessness and hunger. And so we will work with them on whatever jobs they may have available to them, working on developing skills for those that don't have any through training programs or vocational programs, and working with those that do have skills on trying to find employment.
I was working and I lost my job. I was facing some terrible challenges. I'm living on my mom's couch and knowing that I'm almost 40. So I needed to try to get back on my feet. When I first arrived at Samaritan House, I had very high anxiety. I was very depressed due to the loss of income and not having much family by my side. It's not easy being in this homeless situation. It's not, but it could happen. It could happen to anyone. Here I am. I'm moving today, so I'm excited. It's a start. I'm feeling real good.
Once someone moves into housing, we have the housing specialists that work with them to make sure that they maintain that housing. If they haven't lived on their own for a while, we work with them on housekeeping and how to prepare meals so that they can save money, how to integrate into the community, how to be good tenants.
When I became a resident at Open Arms, that was the best thing that ever happened to me because I didn't have to go back on the streets. And then I stayed as a resident for 5 months. And then they moved me to an apartment. And this is the best place. This is the best. Got the best landlord. He's really good. I love it here.
Our landlords, in many ways, are critical partners in helping people get back into their own homes. Our clients turn out to be very loyal tenants because they appreciate the opportunity that was given to them. We have an average length of stay in our housing programs of over 10 years. So it really puts paid to the myth that there's nothing you can do for these people and they're always going to be struggling. With the right support, anybody can live in their own apartment. And when they do so, it's so much better for their health and the health of the whole community.
I've been a member of Lifting Up Westchester for 10 years now. 10 years. Now, everything is good, and I'm happy. They really turned my life around. They made the man I am today.
Our holistic approach was really inspired both from our experience and from really common sense, which is that people who are struggling with poverty have so many barriers working against them in their effort to be self-sustaining. And so if we don't address all of those barriers, we're going to be condemned to repeat the cycle and be providing support to the same people year in and year out. Not only is that defeating for them, for us, and very expensive for our community, but it really wastes all that potential that could be put to good use if we could help people once.
I moved to New York right before COVID, which struck very hard because, I wasn't working. I had a good chunk of money, but I didn't work for a good two years. The money went pretty quick. I used to live in the house, used to have, 2 cars, my rent, my insurance. After 2.5 years, I couldn't pay my rent. I had no choice but to go to Open Arms. I was terrified because I never lived in a single men's shelter. I didn't know what to expect. It was what I needed at the time. I've been through a struggle and I made it out of it. And I'm putting the place together. It's homey for me. There's a thin line between being homeless and not.
We live in a time where we can focus too much on the negative and all the things that we need to be doing as a society that we're not doing, but it is also important to remember how many wonderful people in Westchester choose to make a difference, choose to contribute to helping their neighbors get back on their feet. And that money really translates directly into people moving back into their homes and getting back on track with their lives.
If I had to envision home would look like beautiful family, stable, close friends, also those who helped me get to this point where I am.
And my journey so far, what I'm proud of is me moving.
I moved and moved and moved, but now I'm here. I'm home. I finally got a place I can call home.